Emma, why do some people with simple English tell amazing stories, while some people with great English are boring to listen to?
Honestly, why is that?
Exactly. Because great storytelling isn't about using impressive English, it's about making people wonder what happens next.
Oh, exactly. That little feeling that makes you think, okay, I want to hear the rest.
And here's what most English learners don't realize. Your English might not be the problem, your storytelling might be.
But wait, don't worry, because you already have stories worth telling. Something funny that happened this morning, something unexpected from last week, something from years ago that you still remember.
You don't need a more interesting life, you just need to learn how to tell the life you already have.
And that's where it gets interesting. You don't need advanced vocabulary. You don't need complicated grammar. You need just three things: a clear structure, the right connecting words, and the courage to begin.
And today, Emma and I are going to show you exactly how to take an ordinary experience and turn it into a story that makes people stop, listen, and want to hear what happens next.
Because honestly, the goal isn't to speak perfect English. It's to make people want to keep listening.
Welcome back to Mr. English Podcast, the show where your English becomes worth listening to. I am James.
And I am Emma. And this is day 22. And today we reach something that every language learner dreams about. Not just surviving conversations, not just answering questions, actually telling stories in English from start to finish. Your stories about your real life and having people genuinely want to hear more.
Two things quickly. First, subscribe to Mr. English Podcast right now. Day 23 comes tomorrow and it builds directly on today's storytelling skills. Subscribe and stay in the journey. Second, share this episode. Share it with someone who has amazing stories but cannot quite tell them in English yet. Someone whose real life is far more interesting than their English currently shows. Send them Day 22 today.
And your Day 22 check-in. Go to the comments and write Day 22. One interesting thing that happened to me was, and give us just one sentence. The beginning of a story. Any story. We want to hear it.
Emma, I want to start today with a question.
Go ahead.
When did you first realize that storytelling was different from just talking?
That is such a good question. I think I was maybe 19. I was at a family gathering, and my uncle, my mother's older brother, he started telling a story about something that happened to him at work. Nothing dramatic, a minor incident with a broken coffee machine. And within 2 minutes, the whole table had stopped eating. Everyone was listening. Someone even put down their fork mid-bite.
A fork mid-bite. That is the power.
A fork mid-bite. And afterwards, I thought, why did that work? What did he do? Because the story itself was simple, ordinary even. But the way he told it, the pauses, the details, the little twist at the end, it held everyone completely.
And that is the lesson. The story does not have to be extraordinary. The telling does. And today, we teach you the telling.
So, here's how today works. We go through the 3 parts of every good story: beginning, middle, end. For each part, the key phrases, the connecting words, the techniques. Then we build a complete story together, and then 5 practice situations. Ready?
And the structure at the heart of today is simple. Set the scene, something happened, it ended this way. 3 steps. Every story in the world, from a 2-minute anecdote to a 2-hour film, follows those 3 steps. Set the scene, something happened, it ended this way.
Part 1. The beginning. Say it. The beginning. This is where you set the scene. You tell us when, where, and who. These 3 things create the world of your story, and the listener steps into it.
When, time words. Last week. Say it. Last week. A few months ago. A few months ago. When I was a student. When I was a student. These phrases signal something real happened at a specific time. We are going back there together.
Where. Place words. I was at work when. I was at work when. I was on the bus and, I was on the bus and, I had just arrived at the airport. I had just arrived at the airport. The place grounds the listener. They can see where you are.
Who? The people. I was with my friend. I was with my friend. There was a woman next to me. There was a woman next to me. I was completely alone. I was completely alone. The people in your story give the listener someone to follow.
Now, the hook, the sentence that makes someone want to listen. The best hooks create a small question in the listener's mind. Something happened last week that I am still thinking about. Say it. Something happened last week that I am still thinking about. Or, I had the most embarrassing moment of my life last month. Say it. I had the most embarrassing moment of my life last month. Or, you won't believe what happened to me on the subway. You won't believe what happened to me on the subway.
Each of those hooks creates a question. What happened? What was the embarrassing moment? What happened on the subway? The listener is already leaning in before the story has even started.
Say your hook. Something happened to me recently that, or I had such a moment last week, or you won't believe what happened when. Say yours.
Part
Good.
2.
The story
middle.
has begun.
Say it. The middle. This is the main event, what actually happened. And the middle needs two things, details and tension.
Connecting words for the middle, these are your story glue. First, say it. First. Then, after that, suddenly, at that moment, the next thing I knew.
These words move the story forward. They say, time is passing. One thing led to another. Say them in order. First, then, after that, suddenly, at that moment, the next thing I knew. Those 6 phrases carry almost every story forward.
Details. This is where most beginners make a mistake. They rush. They say, I went to the shop and something happened and then it was fine. No. Details slow the story down. They put the listener inside the moment.
Instead of, I went to the shop, say, I walked into this small grocery store on the corner of my street. It was raining outside. I was in a hurry. 3 details. Now we are there with you.
Instead of something happened, say, I suddenly realized my wallet was not in my bag. I checked every pocket. Nothing. The repetition, every pocket, that is a storytelling technique. It creates the feeling of panic, of searching, of the moment stretching.
And tension, the feeling that something could go wrong or something uncertain is happening. I did not know what to do. Say it. I did not know what to do. I was starting to panic. Everything seemed to happen very slowly. These phrases create emotion. They put the listener inside your experience.
Say the middle phrases all together. First, then, after that, suddenly, at that moment, the next thing I knew, I did not know what to do, I was starting to panic. Good. Your story middle is ready.
Part 3, the end. Say it. The end. And endings do one of 3 things. They resolve, they surprise, or they reflect. The best endings do all 3 in some combination.
Resolution. What happened finally? In the end. Eventually. Finally, it turned out that. These words signal the story is landing. We are coming down from the tension.
Surprise, a twist, something unexpected. And that's is when I noticed. And then completely out of nowhere. I couldn't believe it when. The twist is what people remember. It's the punchline, the revelation, the turn.
Reflection. What it meant. How you feel about it now. Looking back. I learned that. It was one of those moments when. It was one of those moments when I still think about it because I still think about it because. This is what separates a good story from a great one, the feeling at the end, what it meant to you.
Say the ending phrases. In the end, eventually, finally, it turned out that, and that's is when I noticed. Looking back, I learned that, I still think about it because. Those phrases close a story beautifully, every time.
Now, let's build a complete story, right now, together. James, tell me a real story, something that happened to you using the structure.
Okay, real story. Beginning, middle, end. Here we go. So this happened about a year ago. I was at the train station, big, busy station in the city, and I was running late for an important meeting. First, I got to the platform and the train was already there. I ran. I got on just as the doors closed. I was relieved. I found a seat. I put my bag down. Then I looked up at the station sign and I was on completely the wrong train, going in the completely wrong direction.
Oh no.
After that, I started to panic a little. I checked my phone. The next stop was 20 minutes away in the opposite direction, and my meeting started in 30 minutes. At that moment, I did not know what to do. I just sat there, thinking. And then, completely out of nowhere, the man sitting across from me leaned over and said, "Wrong train?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Me too." And we both just started laughing. Two strangers on the wrong train, going nowhere important. But somehow, it was fine. In the end, I called my meeting and rescheduled. I was late, but I made a friend, and we still message each other occasionally.
I love that story. Two strangers on the wrong train.
Looking back, I think that's one of those moments where getting it wrong leads you somewhere better. I learned that some of the best things happen when your plan falls apart.
That's a complete story. Beginning, station, running late, specific detail. Middle, wrong train, panic, stranger. Twist, he was also on the wrong train. End, rescheduled meeting, made a friend. Reflection, getting it wrong leads somewhere better.
And did you notice no complicated vocabulary, no advanced grammar, simple sentences, clear details, real emotion, real reflection?
That's all storytelling requires. Now, your turn. Let's practice.
5 situations, out loud every time.
Situation 1. Someone at a party asks you, "Do you have any funny travel stories?" You do. Something went wrong on a trip once. Build your story using the structure. Set the scene, when and where. Something happened, the middle, how it ended, how you feel about it now. Start with your hook. Something funny happened to me when I was traveling last year. Then go. First, then, suddenly, in the end, looking back. Say your full story out loud. Take your time. Good. That was your first travel story
Situation
in
2.
English.
A new friend asks, "Tell me something interesting about yourself." Not a fact, a story. This is your moment. Pick something real, something small but memorable. Maybe something that surprised you. Maybe something that went slightly wrong and turned out fine. Build it. Hook, scene, middle with details and tension, ending with reflection. Start with, "So this happened a few months ago," and go. Excellent. You just told someone something interesting about yourself, in English, with structure and feeling.
Situation 3. You are in a work meeting. Everyone is introducing themselves. The manager says, "Tell us one story that explains who you are." This is a professional story. Pick something that shows a quality, your problem solving, your kindness, your persistence. Build it. When I was at my previous job, something happened that I think really shaped how I work today. Beginning, what happened, the challenge, how you handled it, what you learned. Say it. Perfect. That story just introduced you better than any job title ever could.
Situation 4. A child in your family asks you, "Tell me a story," a real one, something that really happened. Children want simple, clear, slightly dramatic stories. Pick something from your life. Make it visual. Make the emotions clear. So one time when I was about your age, something very strange happened on my way to school. Beginning, something unexpected in the middle, a resolution that makes them smile. Say it. Keep it simple, keep it clear, keep it real. Good. You just told a story to a child, in English, and they are still listening.
Situation 5, the big one. Someone says, tell me the best story you have, your best one. Full structure, everything from today, your real hook, your scene, time, place, person, your middle, 3 connected events with details, your tension moment, your twist or resolution, your reflection. Full story, your best one. Take a breath, begin. Hook it, build it, land it. That was your story, in English, from beginning to end, and it was worth listening to.
How did that feel? Building a complete story in English, not just answering a question, actually telling something with a hook, a middle, a twist, a reflection?
Because that is the difference. Answering a question, that is function. Telling a story, that is connection. That is fluency. That is English working the way language is supposed to work, between 2 human beings. One talking, one completely listening.
Quick recap. Beginning phrases. Last week, a few months ago, I was at, I was with. Hook. Something happened that, you will not believe what happened when. Middle connectors. First, then, after that, suddenly, at that moment, the next thing I knew. Tension. I did not know what to do. I was starting to panic. Ending phrases. In the end, eventually, it turned out that. Twist. And that's when I noticed. Completely out of nowhere. Reflection. Looking back, I learned that. I still think about it because.
And the 3 elements every story needs. A scene, where and when and who. An event, what happened, with details and tension. And ending, resolution, twist, or reflection. Set the scene. Something happened, it ended this way. 3 steps, 1 complete story.
Homework for tonight. Write 1 story, real, from your own life. Minimum 5 sentences, maximum 10. Use the 3-part structure, beginning, middle, end. Say it out loud 3 times, get faster each time. Then, and this is important, come to the comments and write your hook. Just the first sentence. Something happened to me once that, or you will not believe what happened when. Just the hook. 1 sentence. We want to read them.
And tomorrow, day 23, we talk about giving advice and recommendations in English. You should try. I would suggest, if I were you, the English that lets you guide people toward good decisions. Equally useful in professional and personal life. Don't miss it.
Subscribe to Mr. English Podcast right now. 22 days of real English. And today, storytelling, the thing that makes all the other English worth using. Subscribe and keep building. Share this with someone whose life is full of stories that deserve to be told in English. Send them day 22.
Go to the comments right now. Write your hook. 1 sentence. The start of a real story from your real life. Post it. Because every great story starts with 1 sentence. And yours deserves to begin right here, today.
You know, somewhere in your memory right now, there's a story. Maybe it's funny, maybe it's small. Maybe it happened years ago and you haven't thought about it in months. But it's there, real, yours. And from today, you have the structure to tell it. In English, to anyone, anywhere. And when you do, they will put their phones down, they will lean forward, and they will forget that their coffee is getting cold. Because your story, told in English, is worth that.
See you tomorrow for day 23. Keep speaking, keep telling, keep sharing the real, messy, surprising, beautiful stories of your actual life in English. Because every story you tell makes you more fluent, and every story you share makes you more known.